What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are Traditional Fans with Opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. Tojima wants to be a Kamen Rider, episode 19. So in this episode, Tojima and the cow go to Ichio's mountain home, where some of that tournament that that basically all the riders were doing their little fighting tournament at, and so that they can lay low. Tojima and the cow can lay low with since they're on the run from Shocker, and Ichio had learned from Michiba that Yuriko was hurt during the fight against Batman. And when Ichigo sees Tojima, he gets pissed off. So he attacks Tojima because he learned that Tojima had run away from Batman. He was mad about that. That Tojima ran away and that Yuriko got hurt. And so they fight, and now Ichigo's it. So he's in his underwear, and so they fight. And the cow gets between. He gets in his shocker transformation. He gets attacked by both of them, his neck and face on both sides. So he's knocked down. The fight breaks up. And once the three of them they talk, basically while eating the food that Tojima and the cow brought. Tojima explains everything. He Tojima and the cow explain everything to Ichiro and they explain why the cows joined them. Basically, it's to save his friends. And so Ichiro agrees to help, the cow and Tojima with training. And so, and then while it's going on, so Tojima and Ichi and and Ichiro they're trained they're obviously they outpace Nakao so in stamina and strength and basically while they talk about some of their childhood their memories of watching Kamen Rider shows and so how basically what the some of the scenes that made how Tojima basically was passed out in all of one of Kamen Rider's fights, and he had hit his head, passed out, and his mother had taken him to a hospital, and then and yeah, so Ichio says while describing one of the V3 scenes, saying that it would be an honor if he would die as a Kamen Rider, and Tojima agrees. So and the cow sees that Tojima and Ichio's basically how their drive to be like Kamen Rider basically it's more than just basically being a bunch of cosplayers. It's no, they want to actually be heroic. And so while this is going on, Mitsuba and Yukarisu they're trying to get some intel on Batman. They learn about all the stuff with a lot of the idol groups that Batman has working for him, and they're all shocker combatants. And there's a bunch of pictures of Bat with all the those idols in bikinis. And so then they learn there's a live event that's exclusive to male attendees. And Yukarizu says that she's going to try to figure something out. Now, I don't know how. I've not read the manga, so I don't know exactly what Yukarizu will figure out. I mean, Mitsuba could obviously infiltrate since he's a dude. I mean, don't think Yukarisu could necessarily impersonate a dude. Like, you know, and then Yuriko's starting, she's trying to work out and train, while she's recovering from her leg injury, and so it looks like it's this whole bit. We're in the whole training arc and stuff, while you have Mitsuba and Yukarisu stuff going on. Because there's the whole deal of Batman being like the one that killed Ichigo Mitsuba's grandparents. So like that's gonna be a big thing. So there's like a lot of trains about to happen. Now, as far as how Spider-Man will fit into all this, I don't know. I do find it funny how the main two monsters are Batman and Spider-Man. I do find that funny. I don't know. I would not surprise if the author intentionally uh had that because I don't think those are. 'Cause I don't recall those being Kamen Rider monsters. I think those are just new characters created. But the fact that the main two monsters we see are Batman, Spider-Man, that is just freaking funny. Like I don't care who you are, that is funny. It's like you have Marvel, you have the face of Marvel, the face of DC, like their names used as like Kamen Rider monsters. It's like, man, you basically have manga protagonists beating up Spider-Man and Batman. Yeah, so yeah, overall, I thought it was a really good episode. We're getting a lot of the train, so the question becomes when the cow sees his old friends, since it seems like they're joining Shocker. We'll see how that goes. That should be interesting. So yeah, I thought it was a really good episode. Looking forward to the next one. Digimon Beatbreak episode 19. So in this episode, Glowing Dawn investigates an underground auction for Digimon that's run by Clay Arzlon. And so basically, you have some Digimon and their tamers being illegally sold to people, like being auctioned off. And Tomoro sees like a girl and a Digimon named Tinkermon in a cage. Tomura wants to basically free the prisoners. Reina says they're there to investigate. They can't do anything too dangerous. And so Maki, who's like the bartender, she's there. Like I guess she knows Arslan. Like she has some password. And then yeah, so and then yeah, I mean basically all the people doing the purchase, they have these like masks on, like. And so then, when they try to so Glowing Dawn tries to free like Tomo tries to free the prisoners, and Tomo comes across Raido, who's there, with Renfomon to abduct Tinkermon, and like he's there under orders, and like basically yeah, so fight happens, and Raido does like an evolute of like does an evolution on Ramphomon, and he can't really control the evolution well, like Ryo can't, and basically an attack from Ramphomon kills Tinkermon. Ryo's pissed off. He's like, "You weren't supposed to kill her." And Tomoro's like, "It's not Ram. It's like it's your fault for doing. It's you." He basically Tomoro tells Ryo it's his fault, and Ryo's beaten up by Nido, who's like the head of tactics. And so this one lady who's like helping run these is arrested for the auction, while Arslan basically gets off free. Now why? Who knows? Like obviously he has some connection, you know, maybe there's a long game going on, maybe they're like regarding like he's maybe like an informer or something, maybe like ooh man, like it's gonna be interesting. And yeah, so Nido's a freaking prick. And like, so it's possible Basement's okay. Rhino could be have some redemption, maybe. The other two we've seen from Tactics, yeah, those ones they might have. I think there's a high possibility those two redeem. Rhino was always like the least possible one, but given this episode, okay, there might be some redemption somewhere down the line. And so the question goes, what's Naito's role in all this, and what's the deal with the World Union and all that? Like, there's some scummy stuff going behind the scenes, so it's gonna be interesting to see how it goes. Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. It is going to be interesting, like seeing how things go. Like, yeah, like how how the rest of the stuff goes. Obviously, like things are gonna be picked. Like I think, like here's the thing. We've seen Glowing Dawn Tactics get into some skirmishes. I think there's gonna be a full out brawl happen. Like, and it could get like Tomuro versus Raito could get pretty ugly. Like Gekomon versus Renfomon, that could be a fight. Like that could get really ugly. Now, from a visual standpoint, it could get freaking awesome. Like it would be a good freaking fight. But it could things are about to pick up. So yeah, I thought it was a really good episode. Looking forward to the next one. Blue Miburo season 2, episode 8. So in this episode, so yeah, so basically, everyone's trying to figure out what the heck happened with with Nimi's suicide. And so basically, the investigation, it's revealed that he had slit his belly, killing himself, but like his head was cut off, and basically it's believed that Serizawa had done it. Now we know that Nimi and Serizawa had planned something, and yeah, and so now in history, basically you know, far as the suicide, Nimi's suicide, the ones believed to have you know caused, most likely believed in history, it is believed that Hijikata and Yamanami was ordered Nimi to do it, to kill himself, as like basically beginning of a plan to get rid of Serizawa and his people. Now, but it is a possibility that it was actually a Mito samurai that ordered Nimi to do it, due to a due to a Blue Miburo member, like basically being murdered, and that Kondo's faction was not involved. That's a possibility. Like there's when it comes to this whole period in the Roshigumi, and in the Shinsengumi, basically like there's some stuff that's not known, like historically, like so like there's a lot of stuff that's actually not known. And so basically, so with that, it's been 1 month since Kondo gave his own little deadline. Now he doesn't say why it took 1 month, so who knows whether, let's say, him and Nimi have planned something. If that's partly what happened, like that could be leading to that could be part of like the whole like the whole like Kondo faction potentially be involved in Nimi's suicide. Maybe Kondo was working something with Nimi. Anyway, so yeah, so then what's this? There's so Kondo says that he'll kill Serizawa, but like he'll kill him, but then yeah, but Hijikata says that he won't that basically Kondo should keep his hands clean of it. That it would it could cause problems. Let's say if Serizawa had killed Kondo, like it could cause problems for all of them. And so yeah. So Hijikata says that he'll lead the assassination and like so with with so like with with Soji being the one who'll actually do the deed due to how he fights. Now Haruto wants to be the one to do it, but to do the deed, but so he and Soji do a duel. Soji wins, and like yeah, so yeah, so then it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Like yeah, so it is gonna get very interesting. So they discuss how they'll do it, like because they gotta deal with as far as like as far as like so there's like three that they're trying to kill. So you have Serizawa, the ringleader. You have uh like you have a Hirayama and Hirama. Those three like are the ones that they have to kill. Now now as far as Taro, who's like the young one who's basically sides with Serizawa, basically they don't want him involved. They don't want him potentially getting killed. And so Nagakura he doesn't want to get involved. He doesn't want to get involved with it. He's not gonna mention anything. He's gonna keep quiet. And so he said because basically he's helped Taro, and he doesn't feel like it'd be fair for Taro if he does it. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it goes. So the plan is to get Serizawa, Hirayama and Hirama drunk. Maybe some sleeping like medicine, whatever, if they need to. You know, basically, yeah, and then basically the assassins will kill them. And yeah, so and Hajime's job is to like try to keep Taro away. And that could and so Neo's trying to figure out like he's concerned and he has knows that there's something wrong. And he realizes that okay, something's going on with Serizawa and Nimi that and the other Miburo. Like he has an idea of what's going on. And basically like he wants to protect Taro. And then yeah. And it's gonna be interesting. So we'll see what happens with Taro. Like it is gonna be interesting. Like because I mean history like this is actually a big moment in the real history of so the assassination of Serizawa like it is actually a big freaking deal. Like it is going to be insane. And then so yeah, so this could be really like I think this could be like this could be interesting what happens. So yeah, I thought this was a really good episode. Looking forward to the next one. That account Episode 6. So in this episode, so Soji wants to learn more like like hand to hand combat train, close combat, so he can like doesn't get hit as much. So he tries to get Kasubata to help him out, and so easier and some I guess Kasubata's backstories discussed. So Soji deduced that Kasubata was a gang member based on his tattoos, and that it was revealed to be true. And yeah, so now Soji's told that someone who can actually help him with hand-to-hand combat train is their classmate Hijima. So you see, the little tiny little doll-like character. It's like basically looks like shorter than a hobbit. So Soji tries to search around, finds like a what he thinks is Hijima. Then he sees a bunch of he sees adult. Then he sees all the other. So he's shocked. He's like, why there's a bunch of them? And then the real Hijima appears. Well, okay, well, not real. So it's explained that Hijima is a neat, um, you know, non-educated, employed or training, and so she's a pro gamer. Her dreams be a pro gamer with fighting games being her favorite genre. And so she basically is in her dorm all the time. Her like cyberkinesis whatever can allow her to control like dolls whatever. So she always controls like the school mascot which is like that doll like and then yeah so and then yeah so and basically yeah so in that he so basically she just possesses a doll and she agrees to help him. So you have they find a little training room, they spar. So Hajima and Soji, and then so when Soji gets serious, Hajima gets her little battle suit. It's like a different so you have like the head of like one of those little dolls on top of like this like mech suit. And so you see the fight and like it's actually kind of funny and basically Soji like calls Hajima master because of how she taught like the whole interactions are freaking hilarious. And so Soji, doesn't know what Hydra actually looks like. So he's walking around. He actually walks into a girl, like runs to a girl who knocks down. He's like, "Oh, sorry," and then like he hears the voice, and it's revealed to be Hajima, and like basically yeah. So and apparently when she's like outside of like her room, whatever, she's very shy, but she's like very confident of talking to like a computer screen, like microphone. But in when it comes to actual in person, she is very shy. So that all of it was actually kind of funny. But yeah, I thought like so yeah, it was definitely a interesting dynamic. So it kind of explains why the doll's like showing the Indian theme a lot because like okay, that doll's the mascot of the school. Okay. Now also, it's meant to be a mascot character, so a lot of times mascot characters do get shown in openings and endings. And so then, the whole class does some training to prepare for Class A versus Class B matchup for a potential operation again, like because Soji wants to be part of an operation that's planned to go after Sad Boy K, but unfortunately, since he's a first years are not necessarily allowed to, except for special circumstances, which this Class A versus B competition could maybe help him with. So he does it, and then after training he's trying to do some like exercise on his own. He comes across another flame baiter who like burns like this little thing that's like the thing like he got from his sister or whatever, and that he got his sister back then, and then well like burns it, and then like let's say Soji gets pissed and he gets ready to fight. Hajime says basically don't is it basically that's another class, then that guy's Flambert's entire class appears, and then Soji's class, rest of Soji's appears to basically they're like they were ready to all like just brawl, like just ready to fight, like a straight up fight. It ain't like just a little friendly rivalry that My Hero Academia had with Class A and Class B. It ain't like that where mostly it was just a little taunting, not really a bunch of full on fights. I mean, outside, when it was scheduled, like in that joint training arc. But yeah. But it looks like, oh no, it's more alongside, let's say count. It's more alongside, maybe like the Maki versus Mai dynamic in the Jujutsu Kaisen, class competition. So that should be interesting. So yeah, I thought this was a really good episode. Like how they're introducing a lot of these characters, showing their fights, like their different abilities. Like the whole dynamic between Soji and Hajime was just freaking funny. So it'll be interesting. So I imagine probably a recurrent thing, maybe like Hajime gradually gain out of her shell. Hopefully that could be an interesting plot point. So yeah, I thought it was a really good episode. Looking forward to the next one. Coming to Brave, episode 6. So in this episode, Jogomine, Indo, and Sarah, they ask Yashiro to train them for a swordsmanship exam. That basically, if they fail, they're automatically expelled from the from the Brave program. Yashiro reluctantly agrees, only because he's getting paid 50,000 with 30 grand going to some concert tickets he wanted. And yeah, so basically, his idea is for them to sneak into the academy. Basically, he's like, "Hey, if you can't sneak into the academy, how are you gonna sneak into a demon lord's like lair?" So they sneak in, get into the gym to do some training. Tries to point out their the flaws in their techniques. And yeah, so then what happens is these two they notice there's some people showing they think it's security, so they cut off the lights and hide. Yasha's like, hey, knock the security out. Don't get caught. And if you get caught, you get expelled. But this would be a good training for y'all. Yasha's like, maybe I'm better at teaching than I thought. And so, with that bit was funny. So then, yeah, so and these two, they don't seem secure. They seem to be the ones who snuck in too. The two that come in, and then yeah, so you know, basically Jogama and Sarah tried to fight those two, and then Indo and Yashiro join when Yashiro suspects that yeah, something bad's going like something's going down. He's like something ain't right. So it's gonna be interesting. So yeah, so it looks like yeah, there's a big fight, like the fight's going on, and like yeah, I thought it was a really good episode. Yeah, so the like how the train stuff does, how the combat the ends. Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. So yeah, I thought this was a good episode. Looking for the next one. Good luck, have fun, don't die. So this is a new movie that released. So a man from the future whose name we never hear, like we never hear his name. He arrives in a Los Angeles diner at 10:10 p.m. Basically, he announces he's there to save the world. He's from the future, and that basically he needs volunteers from the diner to join him because he thinks there's a specific combination of the people there that will help him actually succeed. He doesn't know what's correct. Things have gone differently as far as how each one's failed, and that this is his 117th attempt. So, and like how there's some specific details what he knows about some of the patrons convinces someone that he's telling the truth. So he gets Scott, Bob, Marie, and a couple named Mark and Jan to join. And Susan and Ingrid volunteer. Now the guy rejects Ingrid. Basically, Ingrid's never been a member of any group. But when like a bottle falls to the ground, then like spins and points at Ingrid, the man agrees to let Ingrid come along. And so the police they surround diners. Everyone they try to find a way out. Uh, Bob is killed when the man sends him outside to try distract some of the cops. And the rest of the group escapes when Susan points him out to a tunnel that has never come up in previous escape attempts. And so the man's like, "Hey, how'd you know about this tunnel?" Like he's like, and now there is a reason for that. And so you have for some of them you have like flashbacks that explain for some of the characters' backstories. So Mark and Jan are high school teachers. So Mark's a substitute teacher. He doesn't really like people, so I guess that's why he's had some issues with keeping the job. And a lot of teachers have quote unquote gone on sabbaticals, which apparently teachers don't actually do. Now all the students they just use their phone during school. Like they don't do any learning. They don't like so all they do is like look at like all the like Tinder type stuff, TikTok, whatever. Like that's all they do. They don't do any actual school. So Mark tries to get the students to read a book. So they're like, we say something like they're like, is there an audio book? Is there a movie? He's like, oh, there's a movie. It's ancient. And someone's like, yeah, it had Keira Knightley in it. I was like, did this guy say the movies with Keira Knightley is ancient? I'm like, you darn Gen Z, Gen Alpha, whatever. No. I don't remember the name of the book. Don't really care. I don't know if it was a Tolstoy book. And someone's it's funny. He's like, so anyone know who Tolstoy was? And some guy's like, some boomer. And Mark's like, no, he's from the 1800s, so no. I was like these darn cocksuckers. So yeah, so and like basically Mark's over. Are we gonna do anything with their phones? They're like no. And so one teacher like has like a jammer that can jam phones. He hasn't test. I guess he hasn't tested to see if it works. And so some people go on, and yeah, more teach people go on sabbaticals. So there's like something mysterious. Basically, the teachers and principals are disappearing. And Mark sees what someone's looking at the phone, and like he's like mesmerized, and he touches the screen. The person gets up, and then all the students get up and start following him, like they're like in a hive mind or something. And like Mark and Jan try, they use the sailor. So and there's another weird thing. So like some fat chick tells Mark she needs a Pepsi because I guess she has to have a Pepsi every day. Uh, you know, Pepsi, not even a diet Pepsi, which she probably could use that character probably could use some diet Pepsi. Which actually, in my opinion, I'm not a fan of either one. But in my opinion, actually, my personal diet Pepsi actually sucks less than regular Pepsi. They both suck, but diet Pepsi actually does taste better than regular Pepsi. Anyway, that character could probably use the diet or maybe some water or something. I mean, you know. And then yeah, so then all these students are following Mark and Janet. They use the jammers, and it ends up working temporary, so they run away. They use them to escape, and basically it seems like they've been hunted by those students ever since. And I guess that Enid Diner was, I guess, like a little pre stop for them. Susan is a single mother, so her son Darren was killed in a school shooting. School shootings, I guess, are very common. Like, there's a whole bunker and alarm for school shooting, and everyone's so calm about it. Like, and yeah, when there's a whole deal about all the high schools, they're all freaking disrespectful. Like, I mean, it's like it is very disrespectful how they treat teachers in that. Like, very. I'm like, do y'all talk to? I'm like, do you kids talk to your parents that way? Like, some parents would not let that fly. That fly. Like I could tell you, my parents would not let me talk like that. Like those students were treating their teachers. Oh, that would not fly with my parents. So I'm like, who's raising them? And yeah, so anyway, so back with Susan. So Darren's killed in a school shooting, and Susan's told about a company that can quote unquote bring back the dead kids by cloning. Now, the way the cloning works, you choose the personality. Basically, she wants it to be exactly how, Darren was. Understandable, that's her kid. Like, why would you want to go around just changing it? Or and yeah, you have different things to choose from. But there's some personality because there's some very unnatural behavior, and there's things that are programmed into the clone. Like anytime a clone sees a veteran, will automatically say thank you for your service. Which people we should be thanking veterans for their service. Now, doesn't mean we basically doesn't mean we just go around and bother them while doing it. But we should be appreciative of our veteran service because they've done a lot for this nation. And like the clones will give ads, which might explain a thing in the which might actually explain something regarding one of the students in the Matt in the Mark and Janet flashback. So the Mark and Janet flashback, there was a thing about some notes being passed, and like one kid was like recommending different types of chips or something, like almost like it was an ad. So that could be possible that maybe whichever kid was passed out could have been a clone doing an ad that was programmed. Yeah, you have a clone that does ads. It's freaking weird. And she goes like a support group with the Darren clone, and she's told, basically it's her first time. And there was one couple that basically this is their fourth, and this is their fourth time doing it. Basically, so they're like this couple, like their daughter had died in a school shooting, got cloned, then the clone died. The next clone also died. This is like the thing, like the fourth iteration, like fourth or fifth iteration. It's like, what the frick? Like, why? Like, you could tell, by the way, is like they're just they're crazy, but you can tell at least the mother is like just tried to process grief. And it was like, yeah, we're just doing it. We tried to have some fun with it, like change the personality, like change some of the personality stuff. It's like, what the frick? Like, there's some dumb stuff with this. Like I was like, why are you doing this? It's your and they're like basically like have an improved kid. It's like, oh my gosh, like. And so when she is there some guy approaches her, offers her an AI thing that can actually recreate Darren, and the AI actually acts more like how Darren, I guess, acted in real life than the clone did. So she starts talking with the AI a lot, and the AI tells her to follow the man, which is explains why she volunteers. And then you have Ingrid. So Ingrid has an allergy. She's allergic to phones and technology. So that's why she's the only one that didn't have a phone. And so she like so that affects her. So she would get nosebleeds, whatever, due to that. And she had a boyfriend named Tim. And I don't know if they got married or whatever, or they just lived together. So and she worked as like a princess at parties, and basically one time like her allergy acted up, and she actually her nose the blood got onto the cake, scarred some kids. Now, dude, there's a bunch of kids like just playing on phones, whatever, during the party. When they're supposed to be singing "Happy Birthday," whatever. They're just playing some game on their phone, not celebrating with the birthday kid. Yeah, so Ingrid's allergic to electronic devices and Wi-Fi, and so Tim was sent this VR thing. Like, I don't think he ordered it, but it was just sent to him. He basically he gets becomes so obsessed with it that he decides to go through some program that allows him to be permanently uh transplanted into the virtual reality. And it's just shortly after he has told Ingrid he had wanted to have a baby with her, and like yeah, so Tim like just leaves. And that's why Ingrid starts acting very like suicidal. Yeah, so they go there. So basically when they get out there, the plan is they have to find this 9-year-old boy. It's about to create an AI that'll take over the world. Now the man says, "Look, we can't just because someone brings up wild, you just kill the kid." The man's like, "Well, no, it's a 9-year-old, so that's freaking terrible." But also he says, AI is an inevitability. So instead of just killing that, since we know where the kid is, we have a chance to actually put safeguards in. And so that his idea is to have this safeguard program put into the AI so it doesn't like, basically become like take over the world and all that. So he's trying to plan around it. And so basically the people in the future become obsessed with virtual reality that the real world like the resources run out. So half the world population is dead and that the yeah, so and like everyone and like the rest are like either stuck like in the reality, the virtual reality, or like just hiding out somewhere. And so there's a pair of masked men who try to kill him, and Marie and one of the masked men are killed. And yeah, so they all run out, and they get to a house next to the target house. And so the man says that they're gonna be attacked, but it's never the same thing each time. And so the house is surrounded by brainwashed teenagers on their phones. And that's a first because there's been a lot of stuff like Navy SEALs, cops, rats, blah blah, and everyone's talking about, oh, what could it be? It could be a centaur, it could be a cat, it could be a pug. Like bring up different things, and the man's like, hey, let's not make light of it. So during the whole like trying to get away from the teenagers, Mark and Jan use their cell phone gun disabling guns to sacrifice themselves and lure some of the TM's weight. Now, one thing that really deals is like a giant creature, basically like a cat centaur thing. Like the neck is like a bunch of cats. You have a giant cat head. It's like a horse's body, and starts eating some of the people. That bit's actually very funny. And so, they get in. So the man, Susan, Ingrid, and um and and Scott, like they get inside the house, they find this couple who are allegedly taking care of the kid. Now, one thing happens before the whole fight is that the man explains that he was raised by his mother in a bunker somewhere, and like basically he wanted to see the outside, see the sunset, and he found a VR thing that he could use. But that allowed the drone by from the AI to find the bunker and kill his mother. So he had blamed, so he found other survivors, and that's how he started the whole time travel thing. Anyway, so they find so the four of them they find the couple that basically they're hired there to like take care of the kid. Like it's very obviously fake. Scott's killed during the whole fight, and the man's killed. The wife well, so the wife like runs out the house, so search for the house. They find the hidden room where the kid's at. And so Ingrid can't really approach because her allergy. Susan and the man walk through. They find the kid. Susan recognizes the boy's clone. Basically, the AI is some AI is programming the boy to basically make a more powerful AI or empower it to make an AI. So they try to get the safety protocol plugged in, but the AI keeps attacking them. The man gets stabbed, but Ingrid is able to bear through some of the bloody nose stuff and to try and plug it in. And right before she sees a vision from the AI about like the future that the AI is trying to create, and it's revealed that the man is Ingrid's son. That Ingrid is actually pregnant, and that the AI tries to say that Ingrid will have a better life as she basically embraces the future, but Ingrid says no and plugs in protocol, and the AI is forced to reboot. And so a lot of survivors they arrive. So Mark and Jane arrive, and they all celebrate. And yeah, the man realizes something is off. Um, so one thing is off. So you have Darren appears in front of Susan. No barcode, so it's almost like he is actually there. So it's like a hint. Okay, something's not right. And the man goes back in time. And Ingrid's like realizes when seeing everything's going on, shows us that that AI is giving them a fake happy future or to keep them in line. So man returns to the diner in back in time, and he decided instead of using the safety protocol, tries to talk with England, says that he was going about the wrong way, and that the actual solution to fixing the AI issue is basically give everyone in the world Ingrid's allergy to make them all allergic to like electronics, to Wi-Fi, so that basically do for health reasons, like for like actually for their physical health, that they cannot be on their phones. Yeah. See, I thought it was a good movie. As far as the ending, I mean, the way it ended, I wish it was a more conclusive ending instead of as open ended as it was. I mean, it's a comedy, and it was a funny ending, but it's like I think if this was a ending that it feels like a TV show and he was and you're in an episode like that, that would make a lot of sense because you could have like okay for the rest of the TV show, where's the finale? Okay, it could be about how they handle Ingrid getting her algae and everyone. And with all different iterations apparently happening, they could show a bunch of iterations with different characters. I think this would have been a better TV show, but as far as a movie, I thought it was a good movie. Like, the actors did a good job. The humor was great. Like, I thought it was a good movie. I recommend watching it. And that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.